Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
Hi, you Road to Growth listeners. Today I have Augie Johnston. He is, I guess, part of the new age, right? Everything's online. Everything is on YouTube, social media, all those platforms. Yet some people go, well, how do I edit this thing? VidCHOPS, right? Augie, am I giving a kind of good synopsis of what you're doing out there?
Yeah, I mean, so many people want to use online video to grow their business these days, but there's a lot to online video, as you probably know, and we're here just to help people with that. And one thing we've done is taken the burden of video editing off these people's hands.
Now, let's walk through your journey, kind of where this all came from. I know, and we're going to get to it, you played basketball in Europe, you built a YouTube channel, but at a younger age, at a young Augie, were you using your phone? Were you out there? Were you, front of everyone? Who was Augie?
Yeah, growing up, I mean, I definitely was the an outgoing kid, and I was into sports and entrepreneurship at a young age too. Although I didn't think of it that way, but typical entrepreneur story where as a kid I was selling candy, buying it for 50 cents, selling it for $1 at school, doing all those kind of things. And kind of the very first thing that got me like onto a computer was actually a very short-lived rap career.
Oh wow!
So like a lot of high school kids, I got into rapping. I was like, I want to be a rapper, and that got me onto the computer to learn how to make beats and record audio and start working with software, similar to like video editing software, but for audio. So that was kind of the first jump onto the computer.
At that point in time, did you what stopped you? Was it didn't have the time, maybe weren't as good as you kind of hoped, or where did that go? How long did the rap career go for?
It went for maybe 2 years. It was a small part of my life, but it was fun. And I actually, I'm the kind of person that, probably much like yourself, like if I'm going to do something, like I'm going to go all in. And even at a young age, in those short years, I'd recorded over 100 songs. I'd done multiple concerts. At 16 years old, I remember going to I went to a local Too Short concert, believe it or not, and who's a Bay Area rapper, a legendary rapper, and me and my buddy, we were part of the opening act, and Too Short was late. He wasn't showing up. Where's Too Short? Where's Too Short? And the guy on stage like, we got to kill some time. We're gonna do a rap battle right now. $100 bill right here. We're doing a rap battle, and I actually won that rap battle. I went against a bunch of adults at the time, and so and once I got into college, I played college basketball at a small Division II school, and I was strictly focused on basketball at that point, and that's kind of where the rap thing had to kind of get pushed to the side.
Well, let's talk about that. So for the Too Short concert, I mean, I guess it's self-explanatory. They were asking for acts, and you went up there. So did you actually have events, concerts separate from that, where it was actually booked pre-concert?
Yeah, so that was actually booked pre-concert as far as the opening act. Yeah, I had an older buddy that I used to record with every now and then, and he got asked to do it, and he brought me on. We recorded some songs and then went and did that. But most of the stuff I was doing was school dances, little competitions, little talent shows, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, were they mostly at your school, or were they at other schools too?
Mostly at my school. Yeah, I wasn't doing anything major with it. I was trying. I was started, getting some more recognition and stuff. But really, I'm just grateful for that whole experience, because, like I said, it got me on the computer. It taught me a lot. And rapping in front of an audience, a lot of people are scared to talk on camera, right? And so, like, to me, talking on camera is nothing, like, compared to like going up there and rapping in front of a crowd.
Where did the confidence come from? I think that's for a lot of people, at least listening right here, right? That I'm not sure if I can do this. I'm going to basically do this because I'm afraid I'm going to fail at this, or I don't want to ask to do this. I don't want to ask for the business. I don't want to ask to be up there. Where did your confidence come? And maybe it was cockiness at a young age, but where did that come from, the confidence?
I don't know. It must have came from my parents. It must have came from my mom. Or, maybe just as an athlete, you have to have a certain level of confidence as an athlete to step on the court, and a lot of it probably came from ambition. Like that's like my word. Like people, a lot of podcasts, that's what's one word to describe yourself? Like, I'm ambitious, and like I said, everything I do, I'm going to dive in full, and just that's kind of how you got to live life, man. You can't be afraid. If you have a goal, you can't be afraid to go after it, right? You got to like really go for it.
Now, being a rapper, right? For the most part, were you doing it by yourself, or were you doing it with other people?
I had a few buddies that I was doing it with. Yeah.
Okay. And you putting the beats together, you're doing it with them also?
Yeah, I was kind of the guy that knew the computer.
Okay.
And I would make the beats, and people would come over to my house. God bless my parents, and let us record on the computer. And I was using all kinds of different software.
How did the teamwork of rapping compared to being a basketball player kind of very similar? Was there similarities between that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, anytime you're in a team setting, there's certain things that always, need to happen, and that's looking out for each other, working together, and it's the same thing. Like, you want to put together a song, or you want to have a good practice. It's kind of the same thing. It's like you got multiple people working towards the same goal.
Now you're playing basketball, you're doing the beats. Now, as you get more into basketball, right? Are you still doing stuff off computer, still basically being creative? What's that look like?
Yeah, so I went into college, and like I said, I played basketball there, and at that point, as far as the computer goes, I wasn't doing too much entrepreneurship stuff. I was more on the computer. I would create some basketball highlight videos and stuff like that, and that was really taking my game film, turning it into a highlight video. That was where I learned video editing, as kind of like got better and better at that. But yeah, I mean, my college days, I wasn't too entrepreneurial. I wasn't too on the computer. It wasn't until I went and played in Europe, where all of a sudden I had all this free time, because after college I went and played in Germany for 5 years, 2 years in Luxembourg, and I just had all this time. I mean, I'm over there. We have one practice, maybe two a day. It's not like a normal 9 to 5 job. And so I went to the internet searching and did that Google search that so many people do: how to make money online. Go. And that was about in 2009 that I made that first Google search. And then I've just been on it ever since.
What was coming up? Do you remember when how to make money online? What was coming up?
Yeah. So I know I signed up for some online membership where I learned about creating autoresponders and drip email campaigns. I was mostly learning digital marketing, and that's really kind of one of my expertise this day is digital marketing. And yeah, I learned about email autoresponders. I was sitting here in Germany, where the TV was in German, so I couldn't really watch TV. So I'm watching a lot of YouTube, and I mean, that's pretty painful when you think back to 2009, right? The YouTube content nowadays is great, right? Everyone creates awesome videos. You could spend all day on YouTube. Back then, there wasn't as much content. I mean, I think YouTube came around 2006, I think, is when it kind of formed, was purchased, I think, by Google, 2006. And so here I am sitting around searching how to make money online, watching a lot of YouTube. And eventually, I ran across some, I think, article or a blog post talking about, making YouTube videos as a way to make money online. And also, I ran across something that you should create a course, right? An online course. And nowadays, everyone talks about courses, and some people love them, some people hate them. But back in 2009, I created my very first online course, and it was called How to Go Overseas, teaching college basketball players about the only thing I really knew at that time, right? How to network and get a job overseas playing basketball.
Now, did that, and I guess you probably go back to the idea of Google. Is that what taught you how to actually make the course, or how did you learn to make the course?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it was all just Google stuff. I would buy a product every now and then, like a $10 PDF. if you're into the digital marketing world, you've probably heard of a forum called, is it the War Room? It's something like that. There was an online forum that I spent a lot of time on and learned a lot there. But yeah, it was mostly from the forums, blog posts and stuff like that. And funny thing is I went and I created that course, got it all. I mean, I learned how to build a website to do that. I learned how to do graphics. I did everything myself. I recorded the videos, screen captures, and then I launched it and no one bought, right? Because I was still in the process of learning, and I thought that, like, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, all of a sudden you'll be ranking on Google. So it was all built, but I didn't make any sales. So that sent me kind of back to the drawing board, and I had to learn about how to get traffic to my website, how to get visitors, and that's also where the YouTube thing came in.
What was your mindset when you like built something? Because it probably took you a little while to build a course, right? Didn't get traffic going to it. Was it deflated? Was just, okay, I got to figure out another way of doing it? What was that mindset looking like at that time?
Yeah, it was deflating. It was hard because I'd spent like months and literally spending like 8 hours a day, because I would have practice in the morning, spend 8 hours a day, maybe a little practice at night. And so it was challenging. And the thing is too, like, anybody at the time that I was telling, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create an online business. I'm going to, have a location independent business. I could live anywhere. People are like, you're just going to get scammed. You're just going to lose money. Like, even my parents were like, what? So when I did launch it, all right, everybody, look, here it is. And then I didn't get any sales. Yeah, it was hard to take. But at the same time, like I said, I'm ambitious. I was going to figure it out. And just a few more Google searches down the road, someone said, hey, create a YouTube channel, grow an audience, and then you can sell products to that audience. And so that's what I did.
Was there a moment that you thought about just scratching that and going to another direction?
Yeah. There was more than a moment. I mean, I did at one point. I upload a bunch of videos, nothing happened, take them all down, quit, call it, say it's the end of the, end of the day, start looking into network marketing or some other way, some other business venture, and spent, some time doing that, but eventually came back to the online digital marketing stuff because I was a basketball trainer. It kind of like I created that product, and I was going to try to, create some YouTube videos and, do that whole thing as a basketball guy on YouTube, creating basketball videos. But in the real world, I was playing overseas. I was coming back home. I was running basketball camps in the summers for kids, as another business, making some income. I was training players as a trainer. So, in the end, I knew that I wanted to kind of get back into the digital marketing thing, but I was doing other stuff too.
What brought you back? I mean, was it going on the forums again? Was it a mentor? Was it friends? I mean, what actually brought you back from kind of like that point of failure?
There definitely was a moment that I had with, I would say, a mentor, a friend, but definitely a mentor who taught me things where, I was playing in Europe I think it was my third season. I was playing in Europe, and I was like, I want to get back into it. I don't want to create a course on how to go to overseas. I want to create a course on how to shoot a jump shot and dribble and, more mainstream idea. And so I started doing that. I created a course, kind of the same thing. It was getting ready to launch. I shared it with a guy who I just become Facebook friends with. Honestly, I don't know if I added him or something. And he had a YouTube channel. His name is Jack Cassio. It's called Twice the Speed. He's like a vertical leap football speed trainer, really all sports. And he's like, this is good, man. Like, and he'd already had like he had courses, he had a YouTube channel, and he was like, this is pretty good. Maybe we should partner up. And I was like, oh, okay. I, got home that summer, flew out to Chicago from California, met with him. We went and shot some videos. He taught me a lot of stuff. And in the end, we didn't end up partnering, but still a friend to this day and a good guy. And that kind of like sparked my interest, because when I flew out there, he had a brand new condo that he had purchased in downtown Chicago. We were going out. He was paying for everything. I remember he didn't have an extra bed for me to sleep in. So we just drove to Dick's, bought a huge blow up mattress. And at that point, like, I didn't have money. I was like, you're just going to go buy me a blow up mattress to sleep on? Like, no. Like, let's just lay down some towels right now. I'm good. Like, and, I didn't have any money, anything. I just saw this guy and I was like, okay, this is possible. And that was really one where I was like, I'm going to do this. If he can do it, I can do it. And that next season, I launched my YouTube channel.
And then the second time go around, or the second time of putting content out there, what was the feedback? What was the response that time?
It was really good. So the first time I'd tried it, I'd uploaded a bunch of videos on YouTube. Now, they weren't good videos. I mean, like I said, this is 2009, right? So they were literally just videos. I'd hit record, and then I'd be working out there on the court doing my drills, and then I'd hit end. I'd edit it up a little bit, but those weren't getting any traction. So after I got back from Chicago, I took all those videos down, and I, got the camera. My wife became my camera woman for the next few years. And I finally started recording YouTube friendly videos like, what's up, guys? Augie Johnston here, ballerbootcamp.com. In today's video, something like that, I'm going to teach you how to shoot a jump shot. And the response was great. I posted them. I started getting ranked for all these search terms on YouTube. This was probably 2013 now. How to cross over, how to dribble behind the back, whatever, all these different search terms. And views started coming in. And within less than a year, I would say I probably was getting about 500,000 views in a month.
Wow. And for people that are listening right now, I know it's based off, I think, the views or the subscribers, right? That's how you start actually getting paid. Do you recall at that time what it was, or is that too far to remember?
Yeah. I mean, so it's off the views, right? So the ads that show on your video equate to money in your pocket. Now, most people, that's not really the main business plan on YouTube for them. And it wasn't for me, because depending on what your niche is on YouTube or your industry, the amount of money that you're going to earn per view differs. So for me, who was watching my videos? A bunch of kids, right? Learning how to play basketball that don't have credit cards. So the ads that were being shown in my video, I wasn't getting paid that much. I mean, my checks were maybe $400, $500 a month from YouTube ads. Now, I know other people that are in different niches, like, for example, real estate. I don't know if you know of a YouTuber named Meet Kevin. He's okay. So any listener right now that's into real estate, there is a YouTuber called Meet Kevin. His net worth was, I can't remember, multiple millions of dollars by the age of like 19 in real estate. And now he's gotten into financial advice. He actually ran for governor for California during the recall. Uh-huh. He did an income report one time on his earnings from his YouTube channel. And due to the fact that he's giving financial advice, due to the fact that he's giving real estate advice, these are more high ticket type topics. He was making a much more per view off his ads, and his income report reported over $500,000 in 1 month just from his YouTube ads. Wow. And so there's an entire business behind it, more than he sells courses, he does speaking, but that was just from his YouTube ads in 1 month. Now that was like 40 million views.
Yeah. Well, now you're getting the traction off, you're getting the views. I mean, by any standards, you said, what is it, like half a million views or 200,000?
Half a million views a month. Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting 500,000 views a month, not making a lot of money from it, but you still have to have like pretty confident, pretty positive mindset of it. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these views. Now, how do you find a way to monetize, or what happens next?
Sure. So for me, because I started as building a course, right? So I'd already gone down the whole back end business part of it, because, with that YouTube channel, I was able to make over 6 figures with it, but through selling products, right? So I had started my YouTube channel with the end in mind. I think going to Chicago, meeting with Jack, learning the business side of it, already kind of really knowing the business side of it after launching a couple courses. I knew, so I started every video with the end in mind, meaning I recorded my video, And at the end, I had what's called a call to action. Now I'm talking digital marketing here. A call to action is where you just ask somebody to take action and click a link, visit a website. So every single video from the very first one I created when I did the relaunch, at the end, I would say, hey, if you guys want a complete basketball training workout, click the link in the description, head over there. I got a free step-by-step workout you can download. That's called a lead magnet. So people would click that link, go over to my website, enter their email, get the free workout, and join my email list. So that's where the value I was getting from the YouTube channel. I mean, the ads I didn't really even care about, but I was able to build my email list to over 50,000 email subscribers pretty quickly. And then we would use email marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads to sell these people my products. And I'd released over 11 different products by the end of this thing.
Now, you again to build this like infrastructure, right? This funnel, was it still back to the idea of Google, or is it other mentors like that one that you visited a couple years back? I mean, how did you build that?
It was all self-taught, man. I mean, it was all Google. It was all buying courses online. And you got to remember, I started that, like I said, in 2009. So I really was spending 2009 to 2013 kind of in what you shouldn't be doing, the learning phase, right? Where it's fine, it's all good to learn and you should, right? But most people just get stuck consuming content, right? They get stuck in this hamster wheel, consume, and they never create. So I was on that content consuming hamster wheel for multiple years. So when it was time for me to launch, I'd already knew everything. I'd already built multiple websites. I was a video editor. I was a graphic designer. I knew what I was doing at that point. I'd already known email marketing, sales funnels. And this is way before ClickFunnels and the whole world of funnels. But I learned that just through online stuff. And like I said, for the very first video, we started building that email list. We started getting views, and sales started coming in. That was the crazy part. I mean, and at that point, I'd already had other products besides How to Go Overseas. I had a 12-week shooting program, but it was all digital products at that point. Later down the road, I went and started creating physical products as well.
I think a lot of athletes look to make it to the big stage, right? That's what when you play a sport, you see yourself, even as a little kid, you're like, okay, I'm going to be in the World Cup, World Series, whatever it might be, right? Now, you're having great success with this online platform. You're still playing basketball, correct, at this time?
Yeah.
What happened first? Was it, I'm done with basketball or playing over here, or I'm having great success over here that I have to give up basketball? I mean, what was that process like?
Yeah, it was more the second one. Playing overseas and being in Europe and stuff is great and all, but it is challenging to be away from your family, and although I did have my wife with me, but being away from your friends and family, it can be a little isolating at times, being, in a foreign country where, you're kind of the new guy. So after 7 years, I was kind of ready just to kind of hang him up. But at the same time, I was also eager to move back and really focus on what was called Baller Boot Camp, this basketball business, and kind of transition into being a trainer, into being, I wanted to run my own camps. Although actually I was running my own camps there. But I just felt like if I could dedicate full time to it, that it would, I could grow it bigger. And so, what my wife and I would do, and one of the reasons I felt like I was kind of like behind my competitors, is we would come home in the summer. So we'd live in Europe for 9 months. We'd come home in the summer. I would record all my YouTube videos, all my new digital products, all my courses in the summer. So we're talking like hundreds of videos. And then I would fly back to Europe. I would have this huge library of raw footage, and I would edit them and release them once a week over there. So I was a little bit at a disadvantage as the YouTube algorithm would change, right? I couldn't really pivot my video content. It was already all recorded. And so I was kind of always felt like, man, I'm not blowing up. I was consistent with this 500,000 views a month for so long, for years, that it was a little discouraging that I never got that hockey stick up into the millions and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it was because I wasn't doing it full time. I was focused on this basketball season that I was in, and I had these videos that I could upload. And I had this secondary income that was at that point pretty substantial, and I wanted to dive in full time. So that was kind of the reason that I hung them up. And I was getting old. I was like 28 at that time. I was having all kinds of lower back injuries, and it seemed like every season I would have to miss like 3 weeks with a back injury. So that never is good as an athlete playing injured and stuff like that. So
now you're back in the US. You're doing it full time. When did the idea of VidCHOPS come about?
Yeah, so it's VidCHOPS.
VidCHOPS, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So that was basically the idea came to me before I had ever stopped playing basketball and stuff. I had read a book called The 7-Day Startup by Dan Norris. I would definitely recommend it. And what he did is in 7 days, he launched his business called WP Curve, which for a monthly fee would basically give you somebody that you could email at any point, and they would log in real quick and fix whatever you want on your website or change anything on your website. So it was kind of his business was kind of the beginning of what's called a productized service. You take a service, any service, even lawn mowing, even washing windows, video editing, graphic design, and you productize it, meaning you create it like a subscription, like a monthly fee, right? So he charged like $100 a month, and you could have basically like some web support guy that would help you out anytime. He eventually went and exited that business. They sold that business to GoDaddy. So now GoDaddy purchases them and turns them into like a support team basically for them. And during that time reading that book, I had this idea. I was like, you know what? I could do this. I could do this for graphic design. I went and bought a domain name. It was called minutegraphics.com. All you got to do is pay a monthly fee, subscription, and anytime you want a graphic edited, you can just log in, give us a little information, hit submit, and we'll edit that and get it back to you in a day or two. I never launched that. I bought the domain, I built the website, I never launched it. But another person did. His name is Russ Perry. He launched like a business called Design Pickle, and with the same model. And I watched that business grow from 0 to $1 million a year, to 2 million a year, to 5 million a year. And I was like, you know what? I'm so mad at myself for never taking action on that. I know the pain points that YouTubers have because I'm in this right now. And I want to do the same thing for video. And so right when I moved back, I still had not launched it or anything. VidCHOPS was not a thing. I was still working on my basketball thing, but at this point, right, I was doing it full time. So I wasn't just recording a bunch of videos, releasing one a week. I was like, I'm pumping out YouTube videos 2, 3, 4 times a week. I'm doing all the editing. And I was like, not seeing the growth that I wanted. And I was like, feeling this pain point from doing all this editing. I was like, dude, someone's got to solve this. I know how to do it. Let's do this. I have the idea. Like, I know graphic design, it worked. Let's do this for video. And then that's when I launched VidCHOPS.
Now, so this is basically the third online platform you've roughly built. The first one really didn't work out. The second one was doing well, right? And then now the third one, it's more of kind of helping other people get their face out there. What were the things that you were learning as you were growing for the third business?
Well, I had to learn a lot more about business in general. Before, I felt like I was a really good digital marketer. I was a really good, social media, ads, creating content, that kind of stuff. But with VidCHOPS, it wasn't just me. It was at first, but I had to learn the business side of managing people, that kind of stuff. But I will say, when I did launch, I was the only editor. I built the landing page. I followed the 7-day startup method. I launched it. I shared it around in a few Reddit forums, and boom, I got my first sale. And I was the editor, and I'm a good editor. I definitely will say that, but I'm not like a guy that went to college and went down that digital media path and learned all the technical stuff. So I had to learn a lot about editing myself and files and file management and stuff for these first few clients. And eventually, we grew enough to where I think I had maybe 12 clients I was editing for, and I was getting ready to burn out on that one too. I was getting ready to call it quits on that one too. I was like, wow, I'm making like, I can't remember. It was like $6,000 a month or something like that, in, all coming into my pocket because I'm doing all the work. But I was exhausted. I had some 12-hour days I was working and stuff. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I need to hire. And then we started hiring editors, and it was scary. That was a huge hurdle for me to get over, because no one will do it as good as you. That's how I thought. No one's going to be able to keep these clients happy. But what I did is, before I hired somebody, I created like a whole training process, and that kind of stuff, and it worked out.
Now, let's say we're talking in 5 years from now. Where's VidCHOPS going to be?
Yeah, I'm hoping just to continue to grow VidCHOPS and continue to serve video creators. Anybody that wants to create online video, I want to make it life easier for you. So in years from now, I want to have more than just video editing. I want to be able to help you come up with video topics. I want there to be something that'll help you improve the quality of your videos that you record, whether that's consulting for camera advice and, audio, setting up your audio and that kind of stuff. But I just want to continue to grow, serve more creators, and just help other people, like real estate agents, for example. How do I use online video? Like, let's have a platform where you can not only get your videos edited, but we'll teach you guys how to do that as well.
You've built a lot of courses and systems over your life, over your career. I mean, if you could give maybe to that young person that's looking to build a course, or maybe to your younger self that was trying to build that first course, any kind of feedback, advice you would give to either of them?
Yeah, I would say niche down with your course, because if you could find just like one specific thing that your courses can be on, that is ultra targeted and to helping the person get results off that course, then that's where you want to be, especially nowadays with so much competition in the course world. But yeah, definitely niching down. So like a small example in the basketball world would be to, like, instead of making a 12-week basketball training program, like make a 6-week ball handling with your left hand program, right? That would be a little bit different, but super niche. I see that nowadays. And the last piece of advice I would give is that you need to create some sort of special framework. Now, this is a more of a marketing thing, but it's also a thing. But like, basketball training, that's kind of a commodity. Like, I could go anywhere and hire a basketball trainer. I could go anywhere and find basketball training advice. But if I have a system, a framework that I teach, then only I can teach that. So if I have the Augie Johnston shooting technique that I teach, well, then no one else can teach that. And that kind of gives you the upper hand when it comes to selling your courses. So that's another really good piece of advice.
I'll finish it off with this question. You said when you first started your first business, right, putting everything online, that a lot of people around you said, "Oh, why are you doing that? That's not going to work." Do you remember that point in time when you're like, "I've made it, and these people like have faith in me now," or did that come across at all?
Yeah, I think so. With my parents, they were always kind of like, huh? And I was always like, when I'm done, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to have to get a job. And of course, parents always want you to go and get a job and stuff. But I remember one year coming home and doing my taxes, and my dad was helping me out do my taxes, and he was impressed. He was like, "Oh, this is real. This is actually real money." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And yeah, I mean, just to be able to be like debt free and after all this, and earn an income off it and stuff, it's proof enough that it can be done. And if you work hard enough, you can do it.
And if anyone's listening, hopefully, if anyone's listening right now and they're looking to take their online presence to that next level, what's the best way of them finding VidCHOPS?
Yeah, you can check out vidchops.com. And if you are looking to grow an online presence and stuff, I highly recommend creating videos. I mean, even at the worst level, even if you create videos and you don't grow on YouTube or wherever you're posting them, what you're going to find is that you become an authority in the space, even if it's just with your local friends, right? Even if it's just on your Facebook profile, but posting content, even if it's just your Facebook profile, your Facebook friends, you're going to start getting more business. You're going to start getting people reaching out because you're seen as an authority by just delivering value through your videos.
Totally agree. Well, thank you for being on here. Hopefully everyone listening got some great nuggets. I mean, I know one of the big things I took away, it doesn't matter what you want to do, Google probably has an answer that you could find out and build this, just putting the pieces together and building whatever your dream might be. Thank you, Augie, for being here. And everyone, please subscribe, please share, and go get VidCHOPS.
Hey, thanks for having me. Bye.